fields where the sun does shine. Chickens are clucking, living life divine. With tractors rolling under wide open skies that equal the hope we let adventure rise. Country living, we're never feeling small. Join us on this journey, we welcome all.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. As most of you know, we've been spending a little bit of time looking at tractors on this channel. And, you know, on camera, we've looked at RK, Kubota, Bad Boy. We even tried to look at LS, but everybody knows what happened there. If you hadn't seen that video, I'll post a link in the description down below. It just wasn't happening for us that day. Now, off camera, I've looked at the usual, like Massey Ferguson, New Holland, Cody, Bobcat. I even looked at Deere just a little bit. Now, I just want to take a few minutes and talk about Deere a little bit today. It's come up on the radar. People asking why we're not looking at Deere. And I'm going to talk a little bit about them today. You know, and Deere, they're a very iconic brand. They've been around for many, many years. In fact, they started long before tractors were even around. You know, the man, John Deere, he was a blacksmith. He got his start by making a turn plow, you know, Ernie's blacksmith shop. And that's how John Deere got its start way back in 1837. And it was in 1917 when they first rolled their first tractor out. So, I mean, that was many, many years later. Now, 108 years later, I'm on a lot, and, you know, a lot has changed with John Deere. Of course, they've gotten, you know, better since their first tractors 108 years ago, or 100 years ago. But you know, I'm looking for something that I can make money with. So now I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't take a lot of time to sit here and get a lot of really good footage of these tractors, because as somebody who's been already looking and have already glanced at the Deere, I already have an idea in my mind that I'm really not interested in these tractors. And I'm going to explain a little bit more in a minute as to why that is. Now, I'm going to tell you, Deere, they make a really great machine. Of course, you know, we've said they've been around for a long time. They're very well known through the farming industry. A lot of people like them. That's usually a go-to tractor for people who's even, you know, never had tractors before. Everybody wants to go let Deere because it's a very iconic name. Been around for 100 years. So there's no wonder why people want to go for them. And, you know, for as long as they've been around, obviously the dealer support's going to be there. You're always going to be able to get parts for them because they've been around so long, and, you know, people are going to continue to buy them. Now, I didn't run any of these tractors that you're going to see here today. Mainly because, you know, again, I'm not really interested in buying one of these. But it's important to know that Deere, like other companies, even more so with Deere, they'll make a couple machines. They'll make a high price point machine, a premium machine, and then they'll make a more economical machine. You know, with their smaller compact tractors, subcompact, they'll have the R, the E series. Getting on the bigger tractors, they make a D series, and you know, all these different series just come with a different price point and different luxury standards. I'll just say, and I'm gonna tell you something. After sitting on the D series, if I was going to buy one of these tractors, I would personally have to upgrade the seats on them, because the seats that I sat on the D series, it was like sitting on a rock pretty much. And I did ask salesman, you know, if it was possible to upgrade those seats. He said you could buy the other seats like off the R series and put on there, but he said it's gonna be expensive. He wouldn't give me a price point on it, but he said it was really expensive. So just something to keep in mind. But, you know, I do have a question for Deere, though. Deere, if you're going to charge $30,000 for a machine, then please tell me why in the world would you make it out of plastic? I mean, I even watched a man one time. I got a story behind this. back when I bought my first rotary cutter, I bought it used. I still got it. It's a John Deere rotary cutter, believe it or not. I bought it off of a guy, and he was using a John Deere tractor to load it up in the back of my truck. Well, the hook on the bucket broke, and that brush hog came falling down, and it hit the hood of his tractor, and literally just shattered his hood. And granted, it was the fault of the hook breaking, but if that had been a metal hood, it would have just got dented up, and it would have still been usable. He wouldn't have had to took the hood off. But that guy told me that was the second time that's happened on that same tractor. He shattered a hood. But these cheaper brands are using metal on their hoods. So why can't John Deere, who's charging a premium price, use metal on their hoods? I mean, seriously. I mean, it's just, it don't make no sense to me. It's kind of something to think about there. Metal's definitely better in those kind of situations, especially if you're going to be out in the woods and stuff, banging against trees and stuff. You really don't want plastic. So to answer everybody's question of why I wouldn't buy a Deere is this right here. I want you to look at this. This is their loader system. Almost everybody in the tractor industry is using the skid steer quick attach system. Deere uses their own system. And what that means is in order for me to use another item on the bucket, I want you to think about this. I would have to use Deere's products. I can't just go Tractor Supply and buy one of their grapples, or Rural King and buy one of their grapples, or I'm sure Titans will probably sell you one, but it's going to cost you a little bit more. But it's just you're kind of puts you at the mercy of Deere. And for somebody like me who's looking for something I'm going to use to start a business with to make a little bit of money, I want to have the versatility that comes with the skid steer quick attach system that would allow me to upgrade my system as the business grows and stuff in order to use what I need to use and be able to get a better price point. Because if you got more companies making items, then you get a better chance of getting a better deal on something. And if I'm at the mercy of Deere to use theirs, or the companies that they release to use their products, then, I'm going to have to pay an even higher premium price just to get the attachments that I'm going to need. Now, again, if you're just a homeowner or whatever, the only thing you're going to use is, maybe pallet forks, whatever, it's not such a bad deal. And, and everybody says, this Deere quick attach system they have is actually really good. But again, I kind of like that standard so that, when it comes time for me to buy other stuff, upgrade in the future, that I personally have that ability to use what I want to use and have the functionality to actually maybe get a better deal on something if another company makes something. So, that's just me. But now, can somebody please explain to me why both the 1025R and the 2025R have the same loader? Supposedly, the 2025R would be a step above the 1025R, but when you look at the specs and everything, the only real difference you're going to get is that the 2025R is going to have a little bit more lift height. That's because it's got a little bigger tires on it. To me, you'd have to go one more size up, like to the 3025R, in order to make a real jump up in premium quality. And on top of that, you're going to be paying a little bit more for that 2025R. But, it is what it is, what you want. Personally, if it was me, I'd probably want to pay a little bit extra because of the clearance, because you're not going to have quite the height clearance with the 1025R. But again, I'm not really interested in buying one of these tractors. I'm just putting what I see visually out there so you guys can have an idea of what I'm looking at here. So, but anyway, for those of you who like Deere, go ahead and buy your Deere. If you like Kubota, buy Kubota. If you like Massey, buy Massey. If you like New Holland, buy New Holland or whatever. Personally, I don't plan on buying Deere because I just don't feel like Deere fits right for me. So now that's not to say if I found a really good used one, I wouldn't buy one if I found a really good deal on it. But, looking at new and looking at the versatility, I just feel like I get better versatility out of these other brands. So that answers y'all's question. I hope this has been informative for you guys. This is just my outlook. Now, you guys might have a different opinion, and that's fine. Leave your comments down below. Again, Deere, they make a good machine. I just feel like there's better machines out there for me, and even looking at the valve stem, there's just little things like the valve stem guards that all the other companies are putting on. Deere's not even putting those on theirs. If you get out there and hit a rock or something, knock that valve stem off, sometimes you're out in the middle, someplace where you can't even get a trailer to you. So you're going to be at the mercy of trying to find somebody else with another piece of equipment to help you out, get your tires and stuff switched off. If you bust that valve stem off, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like Deere could do better, especially after 100 years of innovation. But again, that's just my opinion. Until next time, I hope you all take it easy, and bye-bye.